Hey guys, what is up? Zero here. Welcome back to Doki Doki Salvation Remake. In the last episode, it seems we have finally reconciled with Sayori by deciding to start over with her, instead of trying to keep our relationship, back to what it was or all this other stuff and all these other garbage. We said, hey, let's just restart. So now we're restarting our friendship, and so far it seems like it's going pretty well. We started off just going to class together. So who knows? Maybe things are looking on the up and up. I don't know. Probably not, but you could always hope. The rest of the school day passes by pretty uneventfully. And I did meet up for lunch as usual and had a normal conversation, which is probably the best thing I could have hoped for, honestly. Before entering the club room, I noticed Monica walking down the hallway. Hey, Monica. Late again?
Hey, from my perspective, it doesn't seem like you're doing any better.
This isn't about me. For Monica's a chance to retort, I immediately slide the door open and rush inside. And now Monica, our beloved club president, is late once again.
If I was just a few seconds earlier, you would have been the late one. And you know what we do to late club members? Show him, Sayori.
She's going to kill us. We're dead.
Eh? Ha!
Sayori smacks me lightly on the head. That did not sound like a smack on the hand. I was like, I thought she just slapped me, dude. Like, my God. That did not sound like a slap on the hand. That sounded like she fucking bopped me. I was like, oh. How? Hey, since when was this a thing?
15 seconds ago.
I vote to get rid of this new law.
Me too. If I knew being smacked was a punishment for being late, I wouldn't have joined this club. I'm only kidding. I'm just messing with Zero. That makes more sense. You're very lively today, Monica. It's nice to see.
Despite the bags under her eyes. Get some sleep, Monica, please.
Oh, am I? Yeah, maybe it's because today is the day of our group session.
Oh, right. Oh, no. Right, I forgot about that. All right, I forgot. Yeah, no, that's why things aren't going to be this isn't going well. I'm going to assume it's not going to go well. I'm taking a guess. All right. That is today, isn't it? I have the exact opinion. Same opinion, Natsuki.
What's wrong? Not ready to talk about things today? You don't have to share anything if you don't feel ready to talk about it. Right. Don't feel like we're pushing you to say anything. You can even talk about fun things if you want.
Well, it's not that. It's sort of like that. It's just like, group therapy makes it sound kind of weird, if you get me.
Well, let's not call it that. In fact, let's not call it anything. We're just a group of great friends getting together to talk about life.
Yeah, that helps.
Well, with that out of the way, shall we get started? Let me make some tea for everyone.
Monica and I arranged 5 desks in a small circle with just enough space for all of us to fit in each one. Kira heads to the back to grab her usual tea-making gear and prepare some chamomile tea. Natsuki reaches into her bag, pulls out some brownies, and places one on each of the desks. Sayori, seemingly having planned ahead for the session, brings out a tissue box and places on her desk. Oh, she's ready to cry.
Just in case you get a little sad.
As Natsuki finishes placing the brownies, Yuri's tea is just about finished. She carefully pours into small individual teacups and carries them on a tray towards us. We'll help her out by grabbing our own teacups and placing them on the desk next to the brownies. We now take our seats and make ourselves comfortable. So, set my fingers on my desk and look around. Okay, so hopefully this follows. Now, I'm not a therapy expert, but if I remember correctly, if I'm to, go correctly off of the information that I've gathered, therapy typically, you kind of ease people in first, right? Like your therapist kind of asks you, like you don't just immediately start, gushing out all your deepest problems to your therapist. Like immediately. Like I think you start off slow. So I'm hoping that here we'll start off just nice and slow, you know. We'll sit here, we'll just kind of talk about maybe everyone's day, you know, or maybe some slight issues they have, and hopefully we're not just about to have a I'm depressed. I don't know why Yuri's the one saying it, but I don't know. You could do that as a power move. Just walk to your fucking therapist and you're just like, I want to kill people.
Sayori, me too, bestie. Me too, Oomphy.
Set my fingers on my desk and look around. Who wants to go first? Slight pause before Sayori raises her hand up.
Me, I'd like to try and go first. Just bear with me, okay? This seems easy at first, but it might get pretty hard as I go along.
They'll share sympathetic smiles as Sayori prepares herself to talk. Sayori clears her throat and lets out a sigh.
Where to begin, huh? Well, for starters, I'll talk about some of my recent favorite things. For example, Natsuki coming over to hang out was really fun. She's a great house guest. Nah, you're just saying that because you let me use your oven to bake you stuff. Maybe so. But I seriously do appreciate your company. It's always a good time to hang out with you. And Yuri, we don't get to hang out often either. That should change, don't you think? I guess we can. But I don't think I'm anywhere near as fun as Natsuki. Nonsense! You're just as fun, but in your own special way. Which is kind of where I'm going with this. I've been trying to find the time and effort to hang out with my friends. Not always easy to do that. But I even got to hang out with Monica this past weekend. That was a very rewarding time for me. And I hope it was for you too.
They reaches out and touches Monica's hand, making her jolt slightly.
Aw, well, I'm glad you feel that way. I really am.
Wait, why did it make her jolt? I thought she can't feel. Wait, am I misremembering? Can Monica feel? Because I'm remembering correctly. When Sayori hugged her, she couldn't feel her, right? Or could she feel her in this instance when she was hugging her? That's what I was like. I thought she couldn't feel Sayori. I could be misremembering though. I think she could start feeling that because that's what I was about to say. Yeah, that's what I was actually about to. That's where I was leading into, because I was like, her getting jolted from shock from her touching her hand could be that she felt that, and she's like, what the fuck? Oh, wait, she can feel sometimes. She did during that time. She can start feel. Okay, so she didn't feel during the hug, but she just felt that. So I think, yeah, she's like, what the fuck? Oh, God. She's just trying to keep it together. Listen, you're like, what the fuck? Oh. Sarah's smile quickly dissipates.
Dang. I was hoping to talk about good stuff first would have made this easier.
You don't have to say anything if you don't feel ready to. Just like you said, you can only talk about fun stuff.
Right. But I feel like I'd be doing myself a disservice.
Sayori slowly raises her hand and rubs it slowly against her neck.
I can't show you yet, but my scar is hidden right here. Every night, every day, it's a constant reminder that I've hurt myself and in turn, all of you. It's still very hard. It's hard to keep telling myself that everything is okay. Sometimes it really feels like it isn't. I never thought I'd ever express myself in front of all of you like this. That's a good sign, right? I think it is. Being able to talk about your true feelings in a group like this takes real strength. I'm proud of you.
I am too.
I'm really glad you're here, Sayori. So am I.
You might already know how I feel, but I'm truly happy to be able to call you my best friend. You can get past all of this day by day. Simply put, truly inspiring.
Thank you, guys. It's funny. I normally wouldn't be able to take these messages to heart, but I actually believe them this time. It's a really nice feeling. Anyway, I think that's all I'm ready to share for now. Sorry if I already brought down everyone else's mood with my silly problems.
Aren't silly, dude. Don't downplay everything you've been through and everything you've accomplished. Natsuki's right. I don't feel like you're bringing down our moods. Personally, I'm actually quite happy that you're talking about some of this stuff with our friends. It's a sign that you've really improved. Sayori sighs and stays silent for a few seconds.
You're right. I'll keep trying my best. Glad to hear that. Would you like to go next, Natsuki?
Yeah, I guess you aren't really giving me much of a choice here. I guess I can start out with fun things too. Lately, I've been making more of an effort to hang out with you guys outside of the club. It's really been easy trying to step away from a group of people that I thought were my friends, but you guys have really helped me along.
Natsuki, how about you skip that? That was already Sayori's problem. Come up with some new ones, lady. Sorry, guys, we're skipping Natsuki. She clearly doesn't have any new issues to talk about.
Speaking of, though, Natsuki looks towards Yuri. Can't forget about you, Yuri.
Uh-huh.
I think you're one of the greatest friends I've ever had. I know we have fights sometimes. I know I could be a real pain to deal with. But geez, how can we have to be so nice to me? Yuri kind of sort of deals with me on a daily basis. We've gone to the library or cafe together sometimes, mostly just to talk about our differences in literature. And admittedly, I've learned a lot just by going around her. Thanks for being such a great friend, you nerd. Also gives Yuri a friendly punch on her arm, making her jump up in her seat slightly.
Of course. It's only because you're such a great friend to me, too. You've really helped me appreciate the parts of myself I've never really been too fond of. I don't really know where else to go with this. But I'd like to start by going back to you, Sayori.
Me? Yuri looks down at her left arm. Just really...
I can relate to not being able to show your scars to the people you trust. I've done things to myself that I can't even begin to imagine actually saying out loud. For as long as I can remember, doing these pitiful and harmful things to myself was how I managed my anxieties. But standing here together talking about all this has made me realize I'm finally moving away from this storm. In other words, I feel like I'm getting better at expressing myself properly without fearing judgment. And I find myself not relying on these harmful activities as much as I used to.
Yuri turns towards me.
Zero, you've been a massive help on this journey. I'd rather not get into the details, but if you hadn't done what you did, I don't think I ever would have made the effort to stop doing these things.
Yuri turns to Natsuki before I get a chance to say anything.
Natsuki, you really are my best friend. I don't think I would have found better ways to cope with my anxiety if I never worked up the courage to become your friend. I see a lot of myself in you, and I guess that made me want to be your friend.
Yuri then turns towards Monica.
Monica, I want to personally thank you for creating the literature club. Without the club, who knows where I'd be? And even if I risk sounding like a broken record, I also wanted you to know that I would completely forgive you for all your past grievances.
Monica sighs and looks away for a bit.
I have to be honest. Speaking to all of you like this is the last thing I ever saw myself doing. It's hard for me to even conceptualize the idea of talking about the things I wish I could talk about. The best way I can put it is...
Pauses. Her eyes shift direction a few times before she speaks again.
It feels like I'm losing my sense of self. I'm sorry if that's not a satisfying enough explanation for all of my strange behaviors recently. Like I said, it's hard for me to want to explain the full reason. I don't think I ever can. And that's okay. You're already doing something amazing by telling us just a small part of how you've been feeling lately. You made the right move. No, that's not it. I will never be understood. It's the one thing in my life that I've been certain about. I've said before that I've always valued the harsh truth over a sweet lie. I'm going to need you all to trust me on this one. I will never ask for anything again if you honor this. I will never be able to explain the truth to you all. And that's the end of that.
The entire room remains incredibly still. Feels like Monica dropped a major bombshell right on top of us. Yet there really isn't anything concrete to actually think about. Sayori places her hand on Monica's shoulder.
Like I said earlier, you don't have to share anything, even if that means taking it to your grave. I'm just happy you decided to talk to us about how you're feeling, even if it's only a glimpse. I'm very glad too.
As am I. Even if we don't know the full story, it's really nice to know the reasons behind some of your weird decisions. And I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say that we'll all be here for you. Absolutely. We all got things hidden away in our head that we can never talk about out loud. Kind of what makes us all human. We've got your back. Nothing will change that. Monica looks away from the group and stays quiet for a while. Monica slightly waves her fingers and sighs. Oh, she's trying to open the console. She's seeing the reset.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Just like that, Monica seems just about done with talking. I guess it's my turn. I don't really have anything specific to talk about either. At least nothing I'd be ready for anyway. But I can start by saying that this semester has been, Pause for a moment once I look into Sayori's eyes. Seem to glisten as she awaits to hear what I have to say, and follows it up with a warm and encouraging smile. I guess it's time to I bit the bullet on this one. It's been very stressful. Probably the most stressful semester I've had in my entire high school career. But I don't really need to get into all the details. The one thing we can all relate to is the amount of work that's piling on us. Not to mention we're all graduating soon, so the motivation to continue pulling through isn't as high as it used to be.
That's very true. I agree. I find it difficult to work on these assignments knowing I'll probably graduate without having to do them. But it feels wrong to not do them, if that makes any sense.
Right, but the difference is my grades aren't very good.
Oh.
Don't feel bad or anything. It's 100% on me, and I'm already improving quite a bit in some classes. Well, you're no dummy. Academically, at least. What I mean is that you've always come across as one of those guys that's secretly super smart, but is just... lazy? Yeah, exactly.
He does? I mean, sure. We can say that. Wild observation, he is. I think we're just being nice now. I wouldn't say he's exactly stupid, but I don't know if I'd exactly call him super smart either. I think super smart's a little bit of a stretch. How much have I missed since the last Salvation stream? Apparently MC got fucking smart as hell. Super not dumb? Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. I think he's super not dumb.
Right. Normally I deny that, but you're both right. I'm a pretty lazy guy. Not sure if that'll ever change. But I'm seeing improvements, so that's good for something, right?
I'm sure things will turn out well for you. In all aspects of life, not just school.
Thanks, guys. Huh. This group talk stuff is pretty neat.
I knew it was a good idea. Thank you for letting us do this today, Monica. Oh, of course. I thought this was a great idea, too. Keeping things inside your head for so long can be really overwhelming, you know? I feel like I was just one club meeting away from snapping.
Monica smiles warmly for the first time since we sat down. Completely contrasting what she just said out loud. I only share a few concerned glances with the others before clearing my throat awkwardly. I say, oh god, Monica? You alright? Well, it's almost time to go. Let's fix up these desks before we leave. Not much else is said between the five of us, outside a few jokes about Yuri's unexpected strength while lifting the desks, or Sayori wanting to take the uneaten snacks. But it was a nice thing to do, though. I think I'd be down for more days like this where we just talk. I think group therapy does feel a bit superfluous, but I'm not really sure what else you'd call it. Once we finish resetting the class, we all say goodbye, and I head home with Sayori for the first time since last week.
That was a good therapy session scene. I do find it it does kind of feel like the only, I feel like that scene kind of exemplifies how, I guess so far, pushed to the back Yuri and Natsuki are right now for the story. Because it's like, oh, Well, what does everyone talk about at the therapy? Monica goes deep into her, you know, the psychological problem that she's obviously facing with the whole epiphany and everything. Sayori goes a deep dive into, you know, how her depression is and how she's been improving from that. And then Natsuki and Yuri just talk about how much good friends everyone is. Natsuki and Yuri basically just tells me that they're really good friends, which is something I kind of already, everyone could have already kind of figured out from the way that they just, you know, their actions. Like, it's just kind of like, wow, they're really, really showing that they're not really that important right now, huh? Yuri talked about her scars? No, we thought she was, but she didn't. She just said, like, she kind of did. She, like, danced around it, really. She was like, yeah, it was more of a metaphorical scar. MC thought she was going to talk about it, but she was just like, I can relate with not being able to show certain things, you know? Like, she didn't really talk about her cutting. So, yeah, it's like, they just kind of... I was like, Natsuki and Yuri's problems were just kind of... Natsuki and Yuri were just kind of, like, telling me the obvious. But, obviously, you know, this isn't really a real complaint, I guess, because it's like... It didn't feel out of place because they were in therapy, technically. So they had to discuss their feelings. You know, if we were just walking down the street with Natsuki and she was randomly just like, Yuri's one of my best friends. I'd be like, what the fuck? Natsuki, what does this have to do with anything? Like, it obviously makes sense why they said that. I just thought it was funny. Like, in contrast to everyone else, they're just kind of like sharing how good friends they are, and how good friends they are with Monica, and how good friends they are with Sayori. That kind of stuff only seems appropriate to bring up with a real therapist. That too. It's one of those things where it's like, I mean, to be fair, Yuri could still bring up her cutting, to be fair. This is one of those things where I guess they don't want to go to therapy, so they're using each other, which is like, sure. Telling friends you trust about is fine, especially since it seems like Yuri's problem has already been kind of dealt with, so it's not too bad. I kind of forgot we dealt with Yuri's problem already. Yeah, her problem was very early on, and Natsuki's, I think, is over. I don't know if her father is ever going to play a role. I think her friends might be her problem, and I'm still really weird about that. I yawned loudly. Well, that was fun. I think.
I'm glad you liked it, Zero. Just between you and me, my therapist is the one who gave me the idea, actually. He first suggested for me to attend some sessions with people I didn't know, and I didn't really like the idea. And well, the rest is history.
Right. Well, good on you for making that decision. Anyway, you want to come over today? I feel like making grilled cheese sandwiches. To my surprise, even though I quickly realized I shouldn't be, she shakes her head.
I have a therapy session today, remember?
Oh. Ah, that's right, you do. Well, have a good time then. I'll be here if you need anything. A fist in my hand to reach out for a fist bump. She smiles as our fists lightly collide with each other.
See ya.
A final smile and a nod. We separate our hands and turn in opposite directions towards our houses. Whew, it isn't easy. I don't want to rush things, but deep down I'm very eager to get back to how we used to be. It's funny. I don't really find myself wondering if she hates me or is still mad at me anymore. It really just feels like we're starting over. And I think that's a good thing. I think. Oh, so it's Monica time. Yep, 39%. God damn.
I find myself feeling unusually lighter than I normally do. Am I dreaming? Am I dead? No, I'm still alive. I'm at school? I must be dreaming. Whose voice was that? Sounds like it came from the classroom next door. I try to listen closely, but I can't get any closer to the wall. My body feels stuck. Can't seem to move at all. I gasp, but I hear another voice echoing through. I barely make out what she's saying. It's even harder to move. I wince in pain as it feels like sharp blades and heavy punches are hurled at my body. I manage to move a bit closer. Maybe I'm eating too much, but see a bit cast today. Wait a second. No, This can't be. Push forward even harder than before, despite the pain. Damn it. I begin to feel a warm liquid stick to my clothing. I look down and see my blazer now has small spots of blood. Oh? I'm unable to focus on the pain after hearing what sounded like. Me? You think so? I can't say I've noticed anything about her. They're talking about Sayori. This is that day. The day I told her. I collapsed on the floor from exhaustion and began to listen to a conversation that doesn't even feel like it happened. Still remember my state of mind back then. I was doing everything I could to get you away from Sayori. But, naturally, her depression just made you more concerned, didn't it? I mean, I'm also friends with her. And I also care about the well-being of my club members, you know? I smiled to myself. I really was set on getting you away from her, wasn't I? I lied through my teeth with a moment of hesitation. Maybe I'll try talking to her myself. Placed my arm over my eyes.
Eh? Are you sure about that?
Zero sounds different than he does now. He's less thoughtful and less self-aware. It's pretty ironic considering the circumstances. I don't understand why you're so different. What changed? What did I do wrong? I listened in more on the conversation, with each uttered line bringing back a slew of memories that I tried to forget about. It took every ounce of my being to appear like I cared. Once I realized that everything was just meaningless. I only did what I had to do, didn't I? My past life echoes. I probably shouldn't say too much, but Sayori talks about you more than anything else, you know?
Huh?
God. It was hard to not reveal how much I truly knew. About her, about Yuri and Natsuki, about the world around me. Every single moment I spoke to Zero was a moment I could speak to you. I think at some point, I truly did convince myself that I hated her. She became nothing to me in a split second. Everything she'd ever done for me meant nothing, was nothing. She wasn't real. I never truly hated you. Sayori. I didn't mean to jump to conclusions, so you should just forget about what I said. I'll try to talk to her, so try not to think about it for now.
Alright.
I moved my arm away from my face and quickly stood up as I began to hear footsteps echoing, getting closer to me. Wait a second. If my memory serves me right, Sayori was towards the back of the room that day. My eyes widen as I'm about to relive the moment I pushed myself beyond redemption. Oh, hey Monica. Sorry if I'm not participating as much as you'd like me to today. You know me, rain clouds can get a little intense sometimes. Right, about that. Sayori, it really does pain me to be the one to tell you this, but... sorry, I'm trying to find the right words for this. I wouldn't want you to take it the wrong way. I don't think Zero feels the same way about you. Huh? What do you mean? You know exactly what I mean. You've told me about how your depression could be a burden on people. Well, yeah. As your best friend, I wanted to be the one to warn you that going after him would be a waste of time. Another awkward pause, as expected of me. I've seen enough to know that even if he were to reciprocate your feelings, it would be because he feels bad. You should be more realistic about this. He only sees you as a friend, and your depression isn't something he'd want to deal with in a relationship. You're right. You shouldn't blame yourself, though. You can't control how he feels. Just between you and me, I think he's got his eyes on Natsuki at the moment. But oops, don't tell her I told you. It'll be our Prez and Vice Prez secret. Tears are flowing from my eyes, and I only notice them now. You didn't deserve any of that, Sayori. I didn't mean to say any of those things to you. I didn't mean for you to fall so far that you'd consider taking your own life. You were my best friend. I ruined all of it for my own goals. Footsteps fade away as I now begin hearing very quiet and soft sobs. I didn't even realize I made you cry. Even if I did, it wouldn't have changed anything. You weren't real. And yet, after everything I've been through, only now I'm realizing that the ends never justified the means.
It took so much of my strength to push away the relationships I formed with them. But I knew it was working at the time. I kept going. I was far enough ahead that I knew there was no turning back. I wonder even if I had achieved my goals, would it have been worth losing everyone that cared about me? The club I had built? The bonds I formed? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that's basically, that's always kind of been what I, that's kind of always what I've been, that's kind of always what I, theorized. It's like, that's always kind of what I theorized Monica said something along those lines to her. Like, she never specifically said anything about killing herself. It definitely had to be something about, you know, not wanting to be with MC. I think it's clever, too. Because, yeah, I always thought she would word it in a way, like, to make MC look like a bad person. Like, be like, I don't think he wants to deal with that. You know, like, I definitely always thought that, too. That, like, she would use it as, like, not a, you know, not blame Sayori, more so make it be like, well, I just don't think he's that good of a person. I don't think he'd want to deal with all that. Like, you know, because she can't really dispute that. You know, it's a smart way of manipulating her because she can't dispute that because MC gives off that vibe of someone who wouldn't want to deal with those things. You know, it's like she doesn't want to be a burden to him. It's a smart manipulation tactic. But, yeah, it seems like, so that's interesting. So, yeah, Monica was able, so I guess it was a dream. So, because we went to the next day, so everyone went home. So, I guess she went to sleep, and that was probably a dream she had where she relived what happened. So, that's interesting. He was an asshole in Act 1, though? Not really. I still disagree when people say that. He doesn't do anything asshole-ish. I don't understand where all the random-ass, like, MC hate comes from. So, yeah, didn't really expect this book to be somewhat of a comedy, but it was a nice surprise to be sure.
Personally, I was waiting for things to get really intense. I want to see a detailed derailment of a man's psyche as more evidence about his life being broadcast is revealed. But I'm not opposed to a more lighthearted take on it either.
Oh, brother. Is Yuri dragging you to her boring conversations again? Natsuki walks in happily and places her book on the desk. Actually, I was the one who initiated the conversation. If you're gonna throw some shade, throw it at me. Yeah, I'm only teasing you guys. I'll hop in on the conversation too. So, what do you two think about it? I personally think a story like this would have made a great isekai. I know, right? I can think about how awesome it would be if it was. Get this. Same character, same scenario, but in his past life, he was a teenage girl. I don't like this. It's, MC, don't write anything. I don't, a terrible idea. See, even Natsuki's like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah, never mind. No. No? Why a teenage girl? I think it would have just been fine if it was the same guy.
I thought it was a good idea for an isekai.
Well, thank you, Yuri.
Hello, everyone. Sorry to be late once again.
Wait, where's Sayori? Huh? You didn't come with her to the club? Well, clearly not. You know what I mean, dummy. I walked with her to school this morning and to her first class. I also sat down and had lunch with her. We haven't really walked to the club together, though. Check my phone and don't really see any text message from her either. She still has to be in school, though, so I can't see her in any real danger. I'm out of it, Zero. Quit thinking like this.
Let's go find her together. She can't be too far.
Sure. Monica, do you mind?
Not at all. Shoot me a text if you find her, okay?
Gotcha. Well, I'm sure everything's just going swimmingly. Okay, so where do you want to look first?
Well, I've got an idea, and it's why I asked you to come with. I asked to come with you in the first place.
Ah, what is it? Not saying anything more, Yuri walks off towards the girls' bathroom and... Ah, I understand now. Guess the bathroom is some silently agreed upon area to go to if you're feeling sad. Walks and stays in there for a few seconds before returning.
No sign of her there. I thought the smells of urine would have really lured her in. As we all know, when you're sad, that's what you want to smell.
Go to the library.
Excellent idea.
You and I walk quietly together towards the library. Wonder why Sayori didn't let me know that she wouldn't be coming to the club today. I mean, during our normal routine, it didn't seem like anything was on her mind. But then again, I wouldn't put it past her to be showing me a side that she wants me to see. I glanced towards Yuri. Hey, hope I'm not out of line when asking about this, but I wanted to know how you're doing. You know, with the whole... I gesture towards her arm, trying my hardest not come across as insensitive.
I don't...
Right, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to push past any boundaries like that.
No, it's okay. I just wasn't expecting you to bring that up so abruptly.
Yeah, that's kind of what I apologize for.
Don't feel bad. It's only natural that you'd be curious about it after some time has passed. At this point, I do feel like I can trust you. You're a good friend. I'm somewhat able to see that you wouldn't judge me. Not like I initially thought, anyway. I just want to make sure that you're okay with hearing me talk about this. You're going through a lot right now. I'd hate to put more depressing topics on your mind.
Hey, I'm the dummy who asked you, aren't I? I'm here for you.
Well, I've told you before about how I haven't exactly stopped doing it. That was true for a little bit. But yesterday, I did something I never thought I'd ever do in my entire life. After a group talk, I asked Natsuki to stay behind and walk with me on our way home. I decided to tell her about my problem. It wasn't easy for me to do, considering that I never planned for anybody to ever find out about it. I just figured that after hearing Natsuki's story last week and how hard that was for her, I should return the favor. I'll spare you the details, but she ended up helping me with this.
Yuri rolls her left sleeve down and shows me neatly wrapped bandages over her cuts it would be. Oh, wow. That's just really nice of her.
I didn't really ask her to do it for me. She just sort of acted. Before I could even react, she ran to the nurse's office, grabbed bandages, and helped me wrap my arm up. Didn't even get a chance to explain myself.
Sounds like something Natsuki would do. So, how do you feel about it? Yuri rolls her sleeve back down.
I'd like to say that these bandages are going to stop me from ever doing it again. It's never really that easy, is it?
I shake my head.
It helped, though. My cuts are healing, and it feels good to be able to say that. I've been looking into other ways to manage my anxieties. Just a few months ago, even a conversation remotely close to the one we're having would not have been possible. But I feel myself improving day by day, and that's where I currently stand at the moment.
That's great to hear. I'm really happy for you. Keep up the good work. I'll do the same as well.
I'm happy to hear that. Let's keep looking for Sayori. We're almost at the library.
Right. Continue down the school's hallway and finally make it to the library. Empty.
This is a perfect time of day to come and read for a bit. There's nothing else like an empty library and a good book in hand.
Right, but no Sayori. Maybe I should just give her a call.
Good idea, but let's check one more place before we do so.
Sure, where to?
I do like how so Yuri did tell somebody, but sorry, it was off screen. She's not important enough. Just kidding. I don't want to. I mean, let's be real. Obviously, like I do want to specify that when I said the thing about Yuri and Natsuki, I do want to specify I'm not saying this as if I'm expecting them to be just as important as Monika and Sayori. Let's be real here. They're not the main characters of this story. It makes sense to have a lot of the things that happen with them, kind of happen off screen. I'm not exactly, I'm not exactly surprised or upset like, how come we didn't get to see the Yuri and Natsuki discussion? Or like, how come we didn't help Yuri more? It's like, they're not the main characters here. Obviously, Salvation's main characters are MC, Sayori, and Monika. So it makes sense as to why their thing would be a little sidestepped. It makes sense. But also, I like it's cute. I like that. That was a nice. I like that she gave her a little bandage. It does sound like something Natsuki would do. Return to the hallway and I allow Yuri to take the lead. Walk a short distance away and up some stairs to the third floor off the building. I really would have guessed she'd be up here. Sure enough, right through the window, I can see Sayori looking out towards the city with a somewhat somber look on her face. Doesn't notice us through the window, so she must be really lost in thought.
Hey, so do you want to go out and talk to her?
But why me?
Well, I figured that you knew where she was and that she would probably prefer to talk to you than me right now, and,
Yeah, but you know I'm not very good at social situations like this.
well, I don't know if she even wants to come to see me right now.
What are you two blabbering about? What are you two even doing here? Did you guys get my text?
No? None of us did. So we came looking for you.
Wait, really? That can't be right. I just sent...
She pulls out her phone and suddenly looks shocked.
I didn't even send!
So this was just a silly little misunderstanding then.
I hope I didn't make you guys worry about me or anything. I'm so dumb.
I mean, we just wondered where you were, but it wasn't too concerning. Just thought it was strange you didn't let us know beforehand. And hey, freaking his son happens to me too. It's no biggie.
Well, if you say so. As you both are here, do you want to join me?
Sure. We just let Monica know so she doesn't stuck wait.
Ooh, she's waiting up for me? Then maybe we should just go back.
Actually, I'll head back on my own and tell them you two just wanted to talk. I'm sure they'll understand.
Wait.
You sure?
Glance at Sayori, who smiles warmly as we make eye contact.
Well, Sayori seems to think so. Besides, I feel like a third wheel anyway.
Yuri, you're just secretly finding a way to get out of this.
Don't worry, I'll go back and you two can talk.
Yuri in her head.
I win this round.
Yuri's just secretly making it so that we have to talk to Sayori and she can get out of this.
Not that I didn't enjoy my time with you or anything. I just stop talking and leave now.
Sayori walks over and hugs Yuri from behind.
It's okay, Yuri. We understand what you mean. No need to push yourself. You can head on back if you'd like, but we'll be here in case you change your mind.
Thanks, Sayori. I'll see you both tomorrow then. Have a wonderful evening, you two.
I mean, we'll be here if you change your mind. Sayori, only Monica and Natsuki are in the club room. Like, half of the club is gone. Somebody has to go back. And with that, Yuri gracefully walks down the stairs and disappears from view. Whew. So I felt like all exhausted. Went around the school trying to figure out where you went.
I see. When did you decide to check the roof?
It was Yuri's idea. Not really sure why, though. She just said to check here first before calling you.
Smart girl. Here, let's head back out. The weather's wonderful.
Sure. As we walk outside, I'm met with a gentle, cool breeze coming in from the north, signifying that winter is just around the corner. Ah, autumn definitely is my favorite season.
I can see that. You're definitely a brown leaf kind of guy.
Yeah, brown leaf. Wait, what do you mean brown leaf?
I don't know. It's just what came to mind.
I was about to say that. I'm glad he took the words out of my mouth. Right. Well, what's your favorite season? I have an idea in my head, but I want to know if it's correct.
It's spring.
Bingo. I got it right on the money.
You didn't just wait for me to answer just to change your choice, did you?
Place my left hand over my chest and raise my right hand. Nope. Swear I guess spring. Why? You don't believe I could get that?
I don't know. But it's true that I love the springtime. All the flowers blooming, butterflies flying around. It's beautiful. The cherry blossoms are to die for, too. I love going with my mom to see them bloom every year.
I can agree with that. Not too big on spring, even though it is beautiful. Sayori points at my face suddenly.
Right. It's because you have spring allergies, right?
Jeez, you remember that?
Of course, silly. I remember how funny it was every time I brought you a flower. You'd sneeze up a storm.
There's so much pollen, Sayori.
Allergic to pollen.
All right. What are you allergic to?
I don't know. Probably some random food or something. But I sure hope not. Imagine going to a fancy restaurant, trying some exotic food you've always wanted to try, and then, wham! You find out you're allergic to tartar sauce.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that could be kind of scary. Normally people recover from stuff like that, right?
Oh, sure. Assuming you aren't too far away from medical services and the resulting allergic reaction blocks your airway and stops you from being able to breathe.
Right. Worst case scenario, I guess. You want anything from the vending machine? I'm super thirsty.
Sure, give me a strawberry soda, please.
Ooh, but what if you're allergic?
Well, I know I'll be fine because you're here to help.
I chuckle as I walk over to the nearby vending machine and place a few coins in. Type in the code for a strawberry soda first, wait for it to pop out, and then push in the code for my lemonade. Yeah, I'm also not really sure I'm allergic to anything, because, like, I'm because pollen messes with me, but it only messes with me if there's a lot of pollen. It's like, I'm not, like, allergic to just pollen by itself. It's really, like, if the pollen count gets really high. It's also, like, a specific pollen that I'm allergic to. Like, I'm not allergic to all types of pollen. It's like, I think it's tree pollen I'm allergic to, or at least messes with my allergies. But, like, grass pollen doesn't. It's super weird. But in terms of, like, food or anything, I'm allergic to, like, no food as far as I'm aware. I've never had any sort of, like, you know, like, I'm not allergic to any of the the typical allergic people are allergic to, like, peanuts, or, well, I think seafood, I think some people are allergic to, or I think some ingredients. I don't know. There's not a lot of, I think the only allergy I really hear about is peanut allergy a lot, but, you know, people are allergic to a lot of different things. Here you go. One ice cold strawberry soda.
Thank you.
We'll sit down on a nearby bench and crack open our cans. Ah. Let's see why you came up here. This is great.
Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. So Yuri knew to check up here before you called me. A long time ago, back when the club was barely starting up, Yuri and I were hanging out on our own. This was about the same time Monica started acting a bit strange. Nothing close to how she was acting a few weeks ago, but she started acting a bit distant. Anyway, the club meeting was canceled that day due to Monica not feeling very well. So Yuri and I ended up hanging out together. She explained to me that she could feel a bit overwhelmed at school, so she'll come up to the roof to get some fresh air. I remember what she said and decided to try it out for myself. And yeah, as you can probably tell, it really is pretty great.
Yeah, good find on you both. Yuri, she's pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah, she's so pretty, right?
My lawyers have advised me to not answer this question.
Don't be silly. I'm not gonna get jealous or anything. I think she's pretty. It's just kind of an objective fact.
Well, yeah, if you put it like that. You all are. Scratch my head nervously as Sayori winks at me. When did you two meet? I asked about you and Natsuki, but what about Yuri?
That one's a bit interesting. Monica was looking for more potential members to invite to the club, and Yuri was one of the first people we saw. Monica seemed to rush Yuri into things, so I feel like we were one wrong move into scaring her away. Anyway, long story short, Yuri and I were able to have a conversation about the kinds of books we were into and stuff. I invited her to read a book together, but before we could actually sit down to do that, Monica stopped the meeting early because she had to go home. But Monica forgot that she had appointed me as vice president that day, so I decided to let the meeting go on.
Ah, very clever of you.
Yuri and I sat down and read a bit of her book together. There was, of course, a misunderstanding between us. She thought I was being forced into reading with her because she thought I felt bad, which wasn't the case at all.
Okay, so this is going off of the side story scenario. Interesting. But the Natsuki one didn't. That's interesting. Okay, so the Yuri one is so we got as far as Yuri. It's like one of those things where it's like, how far did we go until we deviated from the path? So it's like, all right, so I got as far as Yuri's side, Yuri joining, because we know Natsuki's isn't the exact same, because they said that Natsuki joined and it was kind of like she was kind of rushed in, but it wasn't too bad. I think she said, like, there wasn't no too big misunderstandings, and I was like, that's a complete lie. So yeah, that's when things, I guess, started getting weird. All right, so when Natsuki joined, that was when everything started deviating already. Okay. Because Natsuki's lying to me if the Natsuki thing is supposed to happen. Because I'm like, 'cause that was a whole arc, Natsuki. So yeah, no, I don't believe you. Yeah, how long until Monica decided to speed up the process? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what yeah, it's like, so yeah, it was after Yuri was when things started. Yeah, this is when things started to get a little wonky.
I ended up feeling pretty guilty after that, since I thought I made her uncomfortable. We eventually came to understand each other.
She said the thing! Understand!
Yuri wasn't really used to someone being into her interests, so she was already very distrustful of me from the beginning. Ironically, Monica canceling the meeting was the best thing that she could have done that day. It allowed for her and I to talk about things without much issue. Couldn't understand where the both of us came from, and that was that. I'm not really too sure what would have happened if that meeting went on as normal. whether she would have ended up leaving or if we would have grown even closer than ever. But that's just me wondering what could have been. I'm just glad she decided to stay in the club.
I see. Didn't know you two had a bit of history before I arrived.
I think I have a little bit with everyone.
There's only 4 of you. It's not exactly hard, Sayori. I think all of you have history with each other. There's only 4 of you.
It's not as much as I would have liked. But hey, like I said, no point worrying about that. We're a lot closer now than ever before, and I think that's what matters most.
Yeah, it's nice what you've been able to do for this club, Sayori. A goal of yours. Making everyone happy. Sure is a noble one. I just hope you haven't forgotten about your own.
Trying not to.
Both of us look away from each other and towards the sky. You know something?
What?
It doesn't hurt as much as it did the first time. I mean, it still hurts a little bit, but you know what I mean.
It's also later in the day, so less intense sunlight equals more time to find cool clouds.
You said it. In a few minutes looking up at the sky together, not saying much. Somewhat melancholic feel to this moment. A sinking feeling thinking back to the argument we had not even a week ago. And yet here we are, seemingly right as rain. Hey. How are you feeling? You mentioned how Yuri comes up here when she's feeling overwhelmed. What about you?
Well, you know how intense the rain clouds can get. I wanted to try something new for myself. I think it's working.
That's good.
Hey, did you ever have any crushes throughout high school?
Now there's a random question.
Sorry, I'm just curious.
No worries. Let's see. Debated telling her about Natsuki for a short moment, but I feel like she might have already known for this from a while back. Still, considering how close that event was to that, I'd rather not bring that one up. You know, I did have this one crush a few years ago, but boy, is it embarrassing. I misread that. I thought in my head, I thought he said, I did have this crush a few years ago, but it was a boy. And I was like, hey, yo. I was like, MC? At least he's open.
Well, I don't make the rules, Zero. You saying it's embarrassing means you have to tell me now.
What? No, it absolutely does not.
It does too.
So he slaps my arm playfully. You don't get it. It's really embarrassing. Okay, maybe it was a guy.
Fine. If you don't feel comfortable talking about it, I won't push it.
Thanks. Okay, so it started during my freshman year.
Go on.
There was this transfer student from overseas that I had my eyes on for a few months. Oh my god, wait. Oh, never mind. Okay, it's just a girl. I thought his story was about to be like, there's this transfer student that I really liked. Then later, it turns out she was a man. That's what I thought it was gonna be. Got along pretty well, and my attraction to her only grew as time went on. She agreed to a date pretty quickly, which I thought was pretty suspicious, but I went along with it because I thought, hey, said yes, so that's a good sign. Not to mention she seemed pretty interested in me for a while. But anyway, the weekend in which we planned to go out rolls around, and poof, cuts off all contact with me. No texts, no phone calls, nothing.
Aw, Zero. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's really mean of her.
And I don't think it was at first. I kept feeling like I was the problem. Really killed my self-confidence. Stayed home from school for like a week. But as if it was fate, she ended up transferring back to her hometown, and that was the end of that. In retrospect, it was kind of silly to let it affect me that badly.
That wasn't silly. You were heartbroken. That's understandable.
Well, I felt silly. After that, I found it kind of hard to express my feelings to other people.
Ah, that makes sense.
What do you mean?
Well, do you remember some of the things we talked about throughout high school?
No. Was I supposed to?
I guess not. They were very short conversations, but you always seemed very dismissive and distant.
Oh.
I worried about you a whole lot, Zero. I think it's nice to hear about why you always felt this way. It helps me understand you a bit better.
Sayori smiles warmly. I didn't want you to worry about me, Sayori. As dismissive as I was to you, I just didn't want you to waste your energy on me.
It wasn't a waste. Is that hard to believe that I care that much about you?
Yeah, it actually kind of was. Which kind of makes us the same, doesn't it? We both look down from the sky and at each other intensely.
You want to head back down? It's getting a little late, and I wanted to meet up with the others before I went back home.
Oh no! And we ruined the moment. All right, cool. Sure. Let's head back. You'll be walking home on your own today?
Yeah, or with one of the others.
All right. I walked with Sayori the whole way back to the club, dropped her off, and decided to head home without talking about much else. Doesn't really feel like I pushed past any boundaries today, so I can't really help but wonder why Sayori decided to cut our conversation short. I mean, it was getting late. She wasn't lying about that. But I wonder if I went too far by saying that her and I were the same. Maybe I did. Yeah, I think that's definitely what clicked it, buddy. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but, probably wasn't the... Then we have Natsuki. We have Natsuki talking about filler.
I think it's fine. I think it's just fine for manga to have filler if it means it gives an author a break and lets them refresh their memory. Well, what if the filler's a real slog to get through? Like, wouldn't unnecessary content ruin people's desires to keep reading? I'm inclined to agree with Monica. Most novels I've read don't really have anything that could be considered filler.
Really? Because filler can be quite different depending on what we're talking about.
Filler in manga or anime can be different from filler in a novel. Are you referring to scenes that can be seen as unnecessary but actually acts as transition from one major scene to the next? Yeah, exactly that! Huh, that makes much more sense then. Still, I'd imagine it takes skill to write a filler scene that isn't boring or uninteresting. Imagine having readers quit reading your story just before it gets to the juicy bits because your filler was boring. Yeah, I can actually recall a few stories end up dropping just by hearing how good they get.
Are we really getting filler of them talking about filler? This is very meta. We are getting filler of them talking about filler.
Never really knew why until now, I guess. The club door suddenly slides open. Hey guys! Oh, Sayori, I didn't think you were going to join us today. Actually, I wanted to see if you guys would be down for a girls' night.
A girls' night out? Finally?
Sounds fun. Where would we go? Shopping! Shopping sounds fun. We can get ourselves some outfits. I am in desperate need of a wardrobe change. Sounds good. Let's do that. Anybody know any good malls? There's a mall close to where I live. We can go there. Sounds good. Lead the way, Yuri. Girls and I grab our things and get ready to head out onto the train station. I didn't really think about it, but I'm actually looking forward to this. I mean, there's a part of me that's morbidly curious as to what could happen when I enter parts of the game that aren't supposed to exist. But I'm also looking forward to having a normal hangout with my friends. Friends.
Kinda mean they just left MC out of this. Alright, before we start an entire shopping day, I think I'm probably gonna stop here for now. But, okay, so, never mind. Clearly their conversation about filler was actually foreshadowing, I'm assuming this. I'm assuming this next part. Is the mod trying to say the Natsuki and Yuri scenes are just filler? I don't think that. I feel like this might be a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing from the mod because I think it's trying to tell us that the shopping scene is about to kind of be fillery. Like, I think they're like, this next part's gonna kind of be filler. I mean, in my personal opinion, it's hard to define what filler means, I guess, in a way. Because it really depends on what you value, on what the reader values. Because a lot of times, filler can be used to show the relationships between characters, you know? It can be shown, it can be used to show how strong of bonds the characters have, how they feel about one another, etc. Without having to straight up say, he's my best friend. You know, you can use the filler to kind of show
their friends, you know, by showing by the actions that they have in that filler. So it's like, it really depends on what really your definition is. Because I know some people have very specific definitions of filler, where it's like, even if a scene does kind of build personality, if it doesn't move the plot forward, then that's filler, you know? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it definitely changes. You're right, the shopping part is the real filler? Yeah, see, I figured. I mean, but again, it's one of those, can I call it filler? Because from what it could be seen as a way to show the girls' relationships with each other. Because so far, all we really had is a bunch of talks of them being friends. So it's like showing them actually be friends with actual chemistry is, in my opinion, kind of important. Because it helps you care about their friendships. About the friendships you're supposed to care about. It's, you know. TLDR-less Monica says, having a mental breakdown in the middle of the shopping day. This is filler. Yeah, to some people, that's what I'm saying. To some people, that counts as filler. They're like, unless somebody gets shot, or unless somebody has a gigantic breakdown, unless some big scene happens, this is filler. But I'm like, I don't know. It depends. To me, I don't know. I think I'm more lenient on the term filler. But I don't know. That's just me personally. Like I said, it differs from person to person. But anyway, that is it. So far, this is looking kind of interesting. I am curious as to maybe what will happen during the shopping scene. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't a tongue-in-cheek thing, and maybe something really bad does happen during the mall. But I slightly doubt it. We'll have to see. Anyway, that is it. If you want to download this mod for yourself, the link will be in the description below. This has been Zero. Peace.